We're really trying to maintain the integrity of LA's residential architectural identity. It's important to us, like especially after the fires or before the fires, we're not just wiping things down and then creating what's inexpensive, easy, mundane, or without character. Like we really think that when you're walking through a neighborhood, it's fun to be like, there's a Spanish and that's a Tudor and there's a mid-century. Oh, Marilyn Monroe lived there. Oh, I heard this person lived there. And it's part of the mystique of LA.
Hi, I'm Marco Zamora with Zamora Design Studio.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Joelle, and we are Ome Dezin.
And we're in Los Angeles at the Hollywood Hills project.
The house is in Outpost Estates. It was one of the first communities in Los Angeles to have buried power lines, which is really significant when a lot of the homes are in the hills and you're looking out into either the canyon or the city. It's unobstructed views and it really feels like you're immersed in nature. When you walk up to the home, you're really met with these mature trees and like very lush 360-degree greenery around the home. So it feels like kind of a little bit of like a bird's nest perched up at the top, which is really nice. And then when you enter through these like big old doors, you're met with the pool and the architecture of the home, which really isn't, typical like Spanish home, although you see kind of terracotta tiles. It's more of a Mediterranean style home. And then when you walk in, you have these large windows, these vaulted ceilings, beams, and it really is like kind of a very romantic European feel. So we really tried to lean in with that, with terracotta tiles that have like an old world feel. Even the terracotta tiles, it's like you couldn't really tell, I think, if they were old or if they were new. There was a lot of variation in the colors and textures. That's something we really wanted to lean into.
The house already felt very lived in when we first viewed it, but it felt lived in a cool but also not so cool 90s way. We wanted the finished house to feel almost lived in, but new. That was sort of what we wanted to achieve. So a lot of the materials also, they will age with time and they will just show that.
We restore our homes in Los Angeles, so we're always kind of looking for homes that we think would be good projects. We look for homes with character, aspects that we can hold on to the integrity, or it could be the North Star of the designs. When we visited this project, it was a beautiful little hidden gem within the Outpost Estates. It was completely private, surrounded by really mature trees, and it was just kind of 360 degrees. You can't see your neighbors can't see you. And it felt really Mediterranean. When you walked through, it had olive trees that were here and even oak trees. And it felt like you got on a plane and you ended up in Costa Brava or Spain or France or like Aix-en-Provence.
I think when we look at a home, obviously we're looking at, like Joel said, what the starting point is. And while there were elements that were not what we would select, we could see where we wanted to take it, and it had a great starting point. And so we just kind of like fell in love with the house right when we walked in, and then the rest sort of followed. We generally know if things are going to be a consideration, like within the first 1 minute of seeing a property. Then we like dissect it and look at it more and sort of figure out if it's going to be something that we want to do. When we first started, we were doing projects where we were like really small budgets. We just didn't have the experience either at the time. Now, like a house has to have some integrity and some character from before that we get to work with. It's not fun to go into a space and be like, okay, this entire thing gets stripped.
My name is Marco Zamora and I'm a designer here based in LA. My background is originally in engineering, so I went to school for civil engineering, worked in 3 different Fortune 500 companies, and from there I took those learnings and transitioned it over to interior design. That has always been my passion since I was little. I loved architecture, design, painting, drawing, so I always had this like creative passion towards me. So later on in my career, I decided to pivot, and since then I've been, had the opportunity to work on a lot of different and exciting design projects. Jesse, Joel, and I have been friends for some time now. We had talked about collaborating together on a project, and when this home came around, we felt like it was the perfect opportunity to mix all of our different interior design styles. So we decided to partner together on this home and really transformed it. This home was built in 1956 and it was renovated in the 90s. While it did have a really good foundation, we saw the vision for it. It had super tall ceilings, they're all vaulted with wood beams. We really wanted to make it feel open and very warm. Initially, the kitchen was actually all closed off. The location of it was actually right here where we're at right now. And we decided to rearrange it and open it up just so it really felt like an open space where it kind of fits a little bit more of modern living, yet you still feel that charm and the unique pockets throughout the home. We saw the architectural potential and overall design of the home, and we really wanted to enhance that. With that, one of the projects that we took on was redoing the floorings. Initially, it was some hardwood floors that were a little more damaged, needed some replacing. We decided to really ground the home with a terracotta tile, which is a traditional, what you would see in a Mediterranean, Spanish-style home. Did that throughout the first floor as well as up in the primary bathroom. And we feel like that really just brought the home back to its roots and its design style. For us, it's all about looking at the architecture and the style and seeing how we can pay tribute to that and then also elevate and modernize. I would definitely say the bed canopy is one of my favorite furniture pieces. I think for me, I love, when designing a home, I love adding elements that feel architectural and really enhance the space. And in the primary bedroom, you have 14-foot tall ceilings. So we knew that we wanted to do something really grand that felt airy and open and really just showcased how big that room was. So we decided to add a bed canopy in there, and it was very transformative. It feels so romantic and elevated, yet still minimal. My process with picking out furniture for homes, I think I typically start with the architecture of the home for sure. I think that sets the tone of, I would say, a majority of the furniture. But then from there, I think it's super important to add that juxtaposition and mix and play. Because I think if a home just kind of hits one note, one style, I think a lot of it kind of just gets lost. So I think it's very important to add in color, add in different textures, add in pieces from the 1600s and modern pieces as well. I think that's really where you create an eclectic space that feels like home. I mean, it makes me so happy for sure. We just actually went live with the project on socials, and just seeing all the feedback behind it, that people saw our vision and they love what we created, and really just hitting the points what was our intention or initial goal, really making it feel, open and beautiful yet livable. I think makes me really happy. Very rewarding for sure, and I'm excited that I think we really transformed this home so that it's set up to live on for another 100 years.
A lot of our projects, we get in because we're restoring existing structures. We're not adding on a lot of square footage. We're not changing so much that we're like sitting at the city waiting for permits to be issued. And so because of that, we're kind of getting right in. Our contractors are needing information and answers right from the beginning. So we're making fast decisions and moving right from the start.
And as much as we try to keep integrity, there is the reality that people live differently now than they did when a lot of these homes were built. Some of the homes are like 1910, 1920s, 1950s, small kitchens. People don't like small kitchens anymore. Those often have to open up a little bit. If you go into a 1920s Spanish, huge living rooms. There are certain things that you have to do now in terms of just layout changes. How is this livable in today's standards while still maintaining the integrity of when it was designed and built? We're not pure preservationists. And I know they exist, and I've been to their homes, and I think that's like a whole other ballpark, doing the references and looking through the books and making sure that it's T for T, almost like you're walking into a museum. And it's just not what we do. I respect it, and I think that it's great, but I think we're just also evolving with the times a little bit.
And we preserve throughout a job. We will always preserve elements. It's just a matter of how much we choose to do.
We created a really great community that appreciates what we do and appreciates the homes. We end up forging relationships with the people who buy the homes from us. We're still in touch. Like Instagram is such a great way to just connect with people and stay connected. So oftentimes we feel good about who buys it because they feel so good about the house and so good about us. And will invite us to dinner, be able to spend time with it and with them in their new home. And that's such a great end to the whole project. And that's actually the coolest part about this whole thing. Like any type of artwork that just lives on. A home is like a collection of memories for people. It's where you have all of your experiences. To think that we're designing and building something that could live with someone for the next 50 to 100 years or be passed on to their children is such a special element of this whole thing. Be a part of the architectural landscape of Los Angeles.